CreepyCorner stories.
Hey everyone, welcome back to CreepyCorner stories. You know, diving into the dark web is always risky, but sharing these stories with you makes it worth it. I'm curious, where are you watching this from right now? Let me know in the comments below. I've noticed that these kinds of stories hit differently depending on where you are. It might even make the experience a little creepier. So, tell me, are you watching from the safety of your home or somewhere less secure? I bought a smartwatch from the dark web that counts my heartbeats. It predicted the exact minute my friend died. Alright, I don't even know how to start this, but what the hell? I've been sitting on this for a while, not sure if I should post it, but something about getting it out might make me sleep better. If you're into weird tech, deep web horror, or just one of those people who watches YouTube horror stories at 3 a.m. with your AirPods in and your door locked, yeah, this one's for you. So, this started about 5 months ago. I'm 19, live in a small apartment in Phoenix, Arizona, with my roommate Jared. We're both broke college students, and I work part-time at Starbucks to keep the lights on. I'm a tech nerd. Like, I build custom PCs, mod old Game Boys, jailbreak phones for cash on the side. You get the idea. But recently, I'd been watching these weird YouTube videos about tech from the dark web. You've probably seen one. I bought a phone from the deep web and it knew my name, or something dumb like that. They're creepy, but fake, right? That's what I thought, until I got curious enough to try it for myself. Let me be clear, I'm not some hacker or anything. I just followed some Reddit threads, used a Tor browser, and ended up on one of those sketchy markets with zero design effort. It looked like Craigslist got hit by a glitch. Most of the listings were trash. Haunted dolls, red rooms, which I hope to God are fake, and illegal junk I won't even mention. But one listing stood out. Heartbeat plus smartwatch tracks heart rate in real time. Know the unknowable. No product photos, just a red digital heart emoji. Price? $70 in crypto. Seller's name was just. There were 17 reviews, all 5 stars, but each review was just a timestamp and a heart emoji. That's it. Weird, right? Still, I bought it. Don't ask why. I just had that late night itch. The same one that makes you order DoorDash at 2 a.m. or message your ex out of nowhere. Curiosity. 2 weeks later, the package showed up. No branding, no return address. Just a small black box, unmarked, wrapped like a birthday gift from a serial killer. Inside, there was the watch. Sleek, matte black, kinda like a hybrid between an Apple Watch and those Fitbits from 2015. No instructions, no charger, no QR code. Just a sticky note that said, "It starts the moment you wear it. Take care of your heart." I figured it was some novelty thing. Maybe it buzzes when your heart rate spikes. Whatever. I was gonna prank Jared with it, make up some dumb story. But then I tapped the screen. It lit up. Red interface. One single number on the display. 72 beats per minute. It was my resting heart rate. So yeah, it works. Kind of. I wore it for a few days. Nothing unusual at first. Counts steps, monitors sleep, tracks heartbeats. But unlike normal smartwatches, this one never turned off. Like ever. It had no settings, no apps. Just one stat. My heartbeat, in real time, down to the 10th of a second. You know how most smartwatches have a delay or refresh every couple seconds? This one didn't blink, like it was listening to my soul. At first, I chalked it up to being overly designed, some weird, overhyped tech. But then things got strange. It started vibrating randomly, not like a text alert, more like a pulse, in sync with my heartbeat. I was standing in line at McDonald's one night, around 10 p.m., and it started vibrating fast, real fast, like my wrist was freaking out. I checked the screen, 132 beats per minute. I wasn't even stressed. I just ordered a damn McChicken. Then I looked up and saw this guy watching me through the glass. Older dude, just standing outside, staring. No phone, no bag, no expression. When I looked at him, he didn't move. He just blinked slowly and walked away. I never saw him again. I should have stopped wearing the watch then, but something about it, how accurate it was, started to obsess me. I began checking it every time I felt anxious or scared, every time I walked alone at night, every time my mom called me out of nowhere at 3 a.m. to just check in. Then came the part that really messed me up. It was 11:42 p.m. on a Wednesday night when I noticed something new. A second number appeared underneath my BPM. It said, next, 12:09 a.m. No context, just next and a time. I thought maybe it was an alert or a reminder, but when the clock hit 12:09 a.m., I swear on everything, the watch buzzed hard, like it was panicking. The BPM spiked to 177, even though I was just sitting on the couch watching YouTube. I looked over at Jared, who was playing Fortnite in his room, yelling at some 12-year-old. Everything was normal, until the vibrating stopped, and the second number changed again. Next, 3:44 a.m. Again, no explanation. That night, at exactly 3:44 a.m., I woke up gasping like someone had punched me in the chest. Cold sweat, my heart racing. The smartwatch was burning hot, like it had overheated. I ripped it off and threw it on my desk. It just sat there, glowing red. I didn't sleep the rest of that night. I started to keep track of the next times. They always coincided with something. Bad dreams, panic attacks, weird noises in the apartment, someone knocking on our door, but no one being there. Sometimes I'd be outside at Starbucks, working the drive-thru, and my wrist would buzz out of nowhere, and then bam, a car would crash in the intersection right outside. The weirdest part? It wasn't just predicting my heart. It was like something else's too. Because then, the time came when it predicted someone else's. 3 weeks ago, my friend Jordan came over. We were drinking Sprite, watching old Vine compilations, just vibing. He saw the watch and asked about it. I gave him the short version, said it was some weird tech from the dark web. He laughed and said I should sell it to a YouTuber for views. He left around 1 a.m. The watch buzzed again. Next, 1:22 a.m. At exactly 1:22 a.m., I got a call. Jordan had been in a wreck. His car had been hit by a drunk driver, died on impact. My watch predicted it down to the minute. That's when I knew this wasn't just a glitchy piece of hardware. This thing knows something. I haven't taken it off since. I'm scared to, because the next time it vibrates, it might be me. You ever see a dead person blink? Not just lie there. I mean blink. A slow, lazy flutter, like the body still doesn't know it's not alive anymore. Muscles twitch, skin flexes, and for a second, your brain lies to you, tells you they're still in there, like they could just sit up and say, gotcha, but they don't. That's what Jordan looked like, except his eyes were open when I saw him. Let me rewind. After he died, I couldn't sleep for days. My hands shook non-stop. I'd be pouring coffee at work and have to fake it like I was hungover or something. But it wasn't that. It was this sick, gnawing feeling in my chest, like I was carrying someone else's death around, like the watch knew I was supposed to. The night after the accident, I got a text. Unknown number. You were warned. This isn't a toy. No contact name, no thread history, just those 8 words. Then the screen glitched, the watch buzzed, and a new screen appeared. Not my BPM this time, not even the next countdown. It showed a list of names. Jordan's name was at the top. Underneath it, deceased, 1:22 a.m. Then my name, still alive. Then, a new name I didn't recognize. Lena Harper, next, 4:17 a.m. At this point, I wasn't thinking straight. I googled the name. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I scrolled for hours, my fingers numb, until I finally found her on TikTok. Elena Bobaqueen, a college student in Tempe. Same city, just a few miles from me. Her last video was a thirst trap. Just her lip syncing to some sped up Lana Del Rey audio with mood lighting and a Starbucks cup in her hand. But the caption chilled me. If I die tonight, just know I looked good doing it. It had been posted 20 minutes before I saw her name on the watch. I didn't sleep that night, just kept checking the time. 3:59 a.m., 4:06 a.m., 4:15 a.m., 4:16 a.m. The room felt heavier, like something was pressing down on me. I don't know how else to explain it. Like the air got thick, like humidity, but dry, like static before lightning hits a tree. Then 4:17 a.m. hit. The watch buzzed. Not a vibration, more like a spasm, the kind that shakes your bones through your skin. Then the screen updated. Lena Harper, deceased, 4:17 a.m. Nothing else. No news, no alert, no AMBER warning. Just silence. Until I refreshed her TikTok. The video was gone. Her entire account had been deleted. It took 2 days before the news finally broke. It wasn't a big story. Local girl, late night break-in at a Circle K. She'd been stabbed in the parking lot after leaving her shift early. Wrong place, wrong time. They never found the guy. But the time of death, you guessed it, 4:17 a.m. Now I started to spiral. I called in sick to work. I ignored Jared. I unplugged my Xbox. I spent every waking hour in front of my computer, scrolling missing person sites, Reddit rabbit holes, watching analog horror YouTube channels like Nexpo, Wendigoon, Here's My Story, trying to make some twisted sense of it. Was it a database? Was this watch feeding me data from, like, the future? Or worse, was I somehow causing it? Like some reverse death note. But instead of writing a name, I was just reading them and letting it happen. But the scariest part, I couldn't stop. I needed to know who was next. It felt like being God with a gun to your head. 3 nights later, I saw another name. Casey Drennan, next, 2:03 a.m. This time, I didn't hesitate. I had to try and stop it. Casey was a local YouTuber. She did makeup tutorials, ASMR unboxings, the whole aesthetic vibe. She lived in Scottsdale, about a 20-minute drive from me. I found her Instagram live where she was opening PR packages. It was around midnight. She had no clue. I grabbed my keys and sped through the city like I was being hunted. The whole way, the watch kept pulsing, faster and faster, sinking to her heartbeat somehow. I swear it wasn't mine. I was calm, hyper-focused, but the watch, it was sprinting. I pulled up to her condo at 1:50 a.m. I had no plan. I didn't know her. I didn't even know what floor she lived on. I just started buzzing every apartment until someone let me in. I ran the halls like a lunatic, checking mailboxes until I saw one labeled C. Drennan, Unit 503. I took the stairs 2 at a time. 1:59 a.m. I banged on the door like a maniac. No answer. 2 a.m. I screamed her name. I yelled fire, hoping someone would open up. 2:02 a.m. And then the door unlocked. Not opened, just unlocked. A soft click like someone expected me. I pushed inside. Dark, cold, air conditioner on blast. Then I saw her, Casey, lying on her white carpet, twitching violently. Foam on her lips, blood on her nose. Eyes rolled back like a broken doll. Empty pill bottle next to her. An ASMR mic still recording. Red light blinking. She had been streaming to a second channel. I called 911, screamed at them, begged them to hurry. She lived. Barely. The watch buzzed again. A new screen. Intervention registered. Outcome altered. And then, this is the part that still haunts me. The watch showed my name. Adrian Bell. Next. 3:46 a.m. That was me. That was my name. I stared at the numbers. Every second that ticked down felt like a nail in my coffin. I started sweating. My vision blurred. My chest felt like it was folding in on itself. I didn't want to go home. Didn't want to be alone. I drove to a 24/7 McDonald's and just sat there with a Sprite, watching teenagers argue over fries, pretending everything was fine. 3:30 a.m. 3:35 a.m. 3:41 a.m. I locked myself in the McDonald's bathroom, just sat on the floor like a rat waiting to die. I clutched the watch like it was a crucifix. 3:44 a.m. The lights flickered. 3:45 a.m. I heard something outside the store. Wet footsteps. Not like shoes. Bare feet. Sticky. Dragging. Then, breathing. Heavy. Uneven. Like someone had water in their lungs. 3:46 a.m. The lights shut off. Total darkness. No sound. No air. Just that choking, horrible feeling, like something had reached inside me and yanked. Then a whisper. You don't get to cheat death twice. The lights came back on. Bathroom was empty. But the watch, the screen now read, you delayed the inevitable. Next. Unknown. I should have destroyed it, but I didn't, because I need to know when I'm going to die. Because if I don't know, maybe it'll be worse. Into the source of the watch, into who or what is behind it. If you're reading this and you start seeing strange numbers on your devices, check your heartbeat, because someone might be counting it for you. There are places in this world that don't exist on Google Maps. Places where the air smells too clean, where the sky looks fake, like it's been painted over with a color no human eye was meant to see. Places where you feel like you're being watched, but there's no one there. I found one of those places last week, and I think it's where this smartwatch came from. It started with the error. I was in my room, 2:19 a.m., watching some obscure analog horror series on YouTube with those fake VHS filters and distorted screaming in the background. The watch had been quiet for almost 48 hours. No next, no names, no deaths. Then out of nowhere, it blinked red, not vibrated, not buzzed. It blinked, like a glitch in the corner of my eye. When I looked down, the screen was off. First time I'd ever seen it dead. I tapped it. Nothing. I held down on it. Still nothing. I felt this wrongness, this pit in my gut, like I'd opened a door I wasn't supposed to peek behind. Then, one word flickered onto the screen in red text, almost too fast to read, but I caught it. Return. Underneath it, a set of coordinates. That was it. I punched the coordinates into Google. It pinged a location 5 hours north. somewhere near Flagstaff, Arizona. Middle of the woods, no town nearby, no roads, just a gravel trail and a gray smudge where a building might have been, according to outdated satellite images from 2012. I didn't even hesitate. I packed up a flashlight, some water, a burner phone, and drove into the dark like I was being summoned. My roommate, Jared, asked where I was going. I told him, if I'm not back by sunrise, burn the watch. He thought I was joking. I wasn't. By the time I reached the coordinates, it was 3:12 a.m. There were no signs, no fences, just trees that felt too tall and too silent. But the watch lit up again. It started pulsing, not with my heartbeat, but someone else's. I don't know how I knew. I just knew. This beat was slower, heavy, like something massive was breathing through the trees. I followed it, and I found the warehouse. This place looked like a Costco built by lunatics. Massive, concrete, no windows, no signs, just a metal door with a palm reader that was glowing red. As soon as I got within 5 feet of it, the watch buzzed once, violently. The light on the reader turned green, and the door slid open by itself. What greeted me wasn't a room, it was a hallway, lit entirely in red, like the kind of lights they use in submarines or horror movies to imply something's wrong with the power. The walls were covered in what looked like faded wallpaper, floral patterns, but the flowers were black and withered, and on the walls, Polaroids, thousands of them. Every few feet, a new face, a new timestamp, names written in Sharpie. Isaac D, 5:04 a.m. DOA. Marie J, 11:17 p.m. missing. Alex K, 1:36 a.m. unsalvageable. My name was on one of them, already pinned up. Adrian B, time pending. The moment I saw it, the watch buzzed again. This time, it showed a brand new screen I'd never seen before. Subject awareness breached, initiating phase 2. The walls began to pulse like a heartbeat. The lights dimmed, and I heard it, from somewhere deep within the warehouse, screaming. Not panicked, not human. It sounded like a goat gargling blood underwater, garbled, shredded, wrong. I turned around. The hallway behind me was gone, just a flat wall. I was inside now, and there was no going back. I kept walking. The hall got narrower. The Polaroids got more recent. I saw Lena Harper's face, Casey Drennan, even Jordan, all of them smiling, all of them tagged, categorized. And then I found the room. It wasn't labeled. It wasn't locked. It just opened when I touched it. Inside were hundreds of watches, each one resting in a glass case, like museum relics. Some were cracked, some were stained. One still had blood smeared across the screen. There was a man in the corner, sitting in a chair, head down. I thought he was dead, until he moved. He looked up at me, and I swear on everything I love, he had no eyes, just stitched sockets, like someone had sewn his eyelids permanently shut. His lips were stapled, not pierced, stapled shut, and still. He talked, not out loud, in my head. You shouldn't be here. His voice was like gravel and static, like a VHS tape screaming in reverse. You wore the mark. You saw the pattern. You opened the clock. I tried to back away, but the door had closed behind me. He raised one hand and pointed at the center of the room. There was a mirror there, a full-body mirror, covered in fingerprints and something black smeared across the edges. I walked toward it, slowly. What I saw inside wasn't a reflection. It was a countdown, the exact number of heartbeats I had left. Not seconds, not hours, Heartbeats. The watch synced instantly. The number began to drop, one by one. 200, 3,411, 203,410, 203,409, and then something stepped out of the mirror. Not a reflection, not a ghost. Something wearing my face, but stretched wrong, like my bones were melted and glued back together in the dark. Its smile was wide, too wide. Its mouth opened vertically, like a cracked zipper, and it whispered, "You came to return it, but it's not yours anymore. You belong to us now." I blacked out. When I woke up, I was lying on the side of the highway near Flagstaff, face down in the gravel, blood in my mouth. The watch was still on my wrist. It was melting, literally warping under my skin, like it was bonded with me. There was a new screen. Phase 2 complete. Monitoring initiated. No heartbeat count. No names. Just a symbol. A red spade. Same as the seller's icon. I think I was meant to deliver it. Or spread it. I haven't stopped shaking since. I haven't slept longer than 30 minutes in 5 days. And I swear to God, every time I blink, I see faces in the corners of mirrors. Faces of the people who wore the watch before me. They whisper things I can't understand. They tell me numbers, coordinates, dates. There's one they keep repeating. October 19th, Universal Studios, Orlando, 4:44 p.m. I don't know what's going to happen there, but the watch just updated again. It says, next, 4:44 p.m., October 19th. Location confirmed. Collateral count, 178. 178. Not heartbeats. People. There's a weight to guilt that doesn't just sit on your chest. It gets inside your bones, like cold iron running through your marrow. I used to think guilt came from regret, a mistake, a decision you could undo if you just had more time. But this isn't that. This is something darker. What I feel now isn't guilt. It's ownership. I didn't go to Universal Studios on October 19th. I tried. I booked the flight, packed my stuff, told myself I'd go there and throw the damn watch in the middle of the biggest crowd I could find, shout a warning, or, I don't know, smash it in front of the Jaws ride and scream it's a bomb like a lunatic. But the second I got to the airport, the smartwatch screen turned black, like ink had filled it from the inside. Then text scrawled across in jagged red slashes, glitching like a corrupted .mov file. Destination interference detected. Failure to comply will result in early collapse. I stood there at the gate, sweating bullets, as a flight attendant announced over the loudspeaker that the 9:40 a.m. to Orlando had been delayed indefinitely due to technical failure. The second I turned around and walked out of the terminal, the screen cleared, the heartbeat resumed, the countdown resumed. I made it halfway to the parking garage when a kid screamed behind me, like blood-curdling. Everyone looked. I turned just in time to see a man fall face first onto the terminal floor, nose cracked open, foam bubbling out of his mouth. People rushed in to help. One lady tried CPR. Someone screamed for a defibrillator. The time on my watch, 9:40 a.m. His name, it was on the screen 5 minutes later. Caleb Norris, deceased, 9:40 a.m. The same exact time my flight was supposed to leave. If I'd gotten on that plane, that would have been me. I stopped trying to be the hero after that, but I still tried to destroy it. Attempt 1. Fire. I went out to the desert behind South Mountain, took the smartwatch off, poured half a bottle of gasoline over it, and lit it with Jared's Zippo. It burned, melted into a pool of black sludge. I watched it sizzle. I thought I'd won, but when I got home, it was on my nightstand, pristine, buzzing softly, like it had been there all along. Attempt 2. Water. I locked it in a Tupperware container, sealed it with duct tape, and dropped it off a bridge into Tempe Town Lake. I stayed there all night, sitting on the railing like a junkie waiting for sunrise. When I got back to my car, it was sitting on my driver's seat, wet, still working. The BPM on screen was mine, but with a new note. Panic registered, escalation possible. Attempt 3. Hammer. I took a sledgehammer to it in a Walmart parking lot at 3 a.m. wearing a ski mask because at that point I wanted to get arrested. I hit it until my arm shook, until my knuckles bled, until the asphalt cracked beneath it. And when I was done, it was still ticking. No scratches, no damage, just this one new line. Failure to sever connection, permanence achieved. It owns me now. But worse than that, it's expanding. Remember the Universal Studios timestamp? October 19th, 4:44 p.m. Collateral count, 178. That was real. And it happened. Just not the way you'd expect. I didn't go. I wasn't there. But I watched every second through a live stream from a kid's TikTok account. His name was Ty. He was doing one of those theme park vlogs, walking around with his girlfriend, holding a butterbeer, showing off the animatronics in the Jurassic Park section. Everything was normal until 4:43 p.m. The stream glitched. Ty started clutching his chest, dropped the phone, screaming, not like him, but from everywhere. The park speakers started playing static, actual white noise, not music, not announcements, just this horrible, high-pitched screech that made people cover their ears and run in circles. Then the camera tilted just enough to catch it. Something walked past, tall, bone white, skinless, no face, just holes where its eyes should be. A heartbeat monitor stitched into its chest, glowing red. It dragged a chain behind it. One end of the chain disappeared into nothing, like it was pulling something invisible and enormous. The TikTok cut out. I never found the account again. But that night, the news broke. 178 people hospitalized, 51 missing, no explanation. And the very next morning, I woke up with 51 new names on the watch, all of them flickering, glitching, repeating, like their fates hadn't been finalized yet. Jared disappeared 3 days later. I didn't even hear him leave. Just gone. His phone, laptop, wallet, all still in the apartment, but his bed was cold. No sign of a struggle. Nothing. Except one thing. On his bedroom wall, drawn in what looked like black ink, or dried blood, was the same icon from the watch. I'm alone now, but I'm not alone. I started seeing them, in reflections, in the microwave glass, in puddles, on FaceTime calls that no one else picked up. Faces, shifting, watching, whispering, the same phrase over and over. Return the pulse, return the pulse, return the pulse. But there's nowhere left to return it to. The warehouse is gone. I went back, same coordinates, same road. Nothing but an empty lot. No walls, no doors, no Polaroids. Just dead grass and a half-melted McDonald's toy buried in the dirt like a grave marker. I dug for hours. Nothing. But the watch, it showed me a new location, a city I've never been to before. Tokyo, Shibuya Crossing. Date, December 1st. Time, 6:06 p.m. Projected count, 604. 604. I think I'm the delivery system, like I'm carrying a virus made of time and death. A beacon for whatever the hell those things are. I don't think I'm the only one either. I've started seeing other people wearing watches just like mine. I saw one at a Waffle House. The guy looked at me, nodded, and walked into the bathroom. 10 minutes later, the building's lights went out, and an old man flatlined at table 3. I saw one in Times Square, standing still in a sea of motion, staring up at the NASDAQ screen. She smiled at me. She had no tongue. This isn't about tech. This isn't about the deep web. This is about something older, something that learned how to hide inside our machines, our smartwatches, our Fitbits, our TikToks, something that feeds on our patterns, on our rhythms, and it feeds by predicting, by calculating, by replacing. I don't sleep anymore. When I close my eyes, I see the mirror from the warehouse, the countdown, my face, my death. It's closer now. Only 15,612 heartbeats left. It used to be over 200,000. Now, every beat counts, and I swear, every time it ticks down, I feel something else, waking up, and it's already happening, because the watch says, final event, incoming, part 5, 0, 0 remaining, and the screen just turned red. It's happening now. I can barely write this. My hands are trembling, like my bones are trying to crawl out of my skin. The watch doesn't show my heartbeat anymore. It just says, live feed, final transmission. And there's a camera icon, like someone or something is watching through it. Maybe it always has been. After Tokyo, after that date appeared, December 1st, 6:06 p.m., I started planning to end it, not escape it, not fight it, end it. I became obsessed with finding the root, the origin. I traced the spade symbol back through tall marketplaces, encrypted forums, closed Discord servers that vanished 5 minutes after you joined. People there weren't trading Bitcoin or selling drugs. They were trading pulse maps, digital death schedules, files that showed who would die, where and when, and how many would go down with them. Not names, just numbers, like it was all calculated. One server called it the rhythm, another called it pulse theory, but the oldest post I found had no title, no author, just a link. It was archived on a dead Tumblr blog, buried in a hidden layer of Wayback. It said, the watch is not a device, it's a contract. Each tick is a transaction. Each beat is a pact. You wear it, you're marked. You see the number, you accept it. There is no off. There is no done. There is only the final beat. Do not attempt to remove the watch. The watch will remove you first. I tried to take my own life. Don't judge me. This was after I saw my mother's name on the screen. She doesn't even know what I've been going through. We hadn't spoken since I left for college, but there it was. Rebecca Bell, next, 2:19 a.m. I drove to her house, pounded on the door until she woke up in a robe, terrified, thinking I was drunk, or high, or worse. I didn't explain. I just held her and cried until my face was buried in her shoulder, like I was 6 again. At 2:19 a.m., I wrapped my arms around her and held my breath. Nothing happened. But at 2:21 a.m., her dog, her old rescue spaniel, started howling, then collapsed on the floor, eyes wide, tongue hanging out. Dead. Heart failure. The watch updated instantly. Rebecca Bell, collateral avoided. Substitute accepted. Gus, time of death, 2:19 a.m. That's when I realized. It doesn't care how death happens, only that it does. It collects it like currency. You can dodge it, delay it, trade it, but you can't erase it. Ever. I started seeing others again. More people with the watches, at Walmart, at the DMV, at Disneyland. I saw a teenager on TikTok doing a GRWM, Get Ready With Me, video. She casually showed off her aesthetic new heartbeat tracker. It looked identical to mine. In the comments, someone asked, "Where did you buy it?" She responded, "It just came in the mail one day." Another reply, "I got one too. It buzzed right before my sister fell down the stairs. Freaky lol." Another, "Mine predicted my teacher's car crash. Literally, the minute she died. This is spreading, like a virus that hides in style, in trends, in tech. We let it in. We let it track us, monitor us, wear us. You know how Apple Watch has a fall detection feature? This thing is fall preparation. On November 30th, the countdown hit 0. Not mine, but the world's. I watched the screen turn pitch black. A line of red text scrolled across in perfect silence. Final event integration beginning. Then the watch started showing other people's BPMS in real time. Thousands of them, millions, scrolling like a stock market ticker across a red background. Every beat synced, every life ticking. Some of them dropped off mid-beat. Some spiked suddenly, then flatlined. Every second, dozens more vanished. It was collecting. December 1st, 6:06 p.m. I stayed in my room. I shut off my phone, blocked every window, put duct tape over every reflective surface. But it didn't matter. At exactly 6:06 p.m., the wall started throbbing, like a heartbeat. My heartbeat, number 2 deep, 2 slow, like something was pulsing through the building. Then the door opened. I didn't open it. No one did. It just swung open, like it was welcoming something inside. They walked in, 3 of them, all wearing my face, but not my face now. My face from different versions of me. One with my face from childhood, dirt-covered, pale, eyes black like 2 sinkholes. One with my college face, but with skin peeling down his neck, revealing muscle. One with no eyes, no mouth, just a face covered in watches, all ticking out of sync, embedded in flesh. They stood in a triangle, and they whispered, all in unison, "Your final beat is not yours. You are the last transmitter. When you stop, they start." Then they pointed at my chest. The watch vibrated, then sank in, like it melted into my skin. I screamed until blood came out of my mouth, until my teeth cracked, until my left eye burst. But I couldn't move, because the mirror formed in front of me again. This time, it didn't show me. It showed a map of the world, covered in dots, red, flashing, every one of them a smartwatch. Everyone connected, everyone counting. Then the map zoomed in, to you, reading this. You're a dot now. The moment your eyes locked onto this story, you agreed, you clicked, you let it in. The final screen now says, transmission complete, spread achieved. The rhythm will continue. My BPM, 0. I'm not breathing. Not really. Just writing. Because that's the last part. Once your watch hits 0, you become a carrier, a transmitter. Your final beat becomes the first beat of the next. You don't get to die. You get to deliver. And now you've read this. You've synced with me. You felt my beat, which means you have one now too. You may not see it yet, but when your phone buzzes at 3:17 a.m., when the clock hits a weird number and your pulse skips, when you see your own name flash across your smartwatch screen, don't say I didn't warn you. Don't scream. Don't run. Just count your heartbeats, because it's watching you now, listening, waiting, and when your number comes up, the rhythm won't miss a step. Not for you. Not for anyone. Not ever again. Or maybe the beginning. I ordered a used laptop from the dark web. The desktop wallpaper was a live stream of my front door. It all started with a Reddit thread. Alright, this is gonna sound like total BS at first, but I swear to you, every single part of this story happened. I've never posted on r/NOSLEEP before, but I've lurked for years. I just never thought I'd have a story worth sharing here. Until now. It all started about 2 months ago. I was just bored out of my mind. School was out for the summer. I'd just graduated college, and I was stuck at my parents' house with nothing to do but scroll Reddit and doom scroll TikTok like a zombie. My room still had my high school posters up, one of those keep calm and game on things above my desk that made me cringe every time I looked at it. You know the vibe. Anyway, I was up late one night, just browsing through random subreddits. Somehow, I ended up in this weird rabbit hole of deep web stories. You know the ones. I hired a hitman from the dark web, and he showed up at my house. Or I found a VHS tape on a darknet site that showed someone sleeping in my bed. Real, here's my story type stuff. Creepy, but addictive. That's when I came across this post in a tiny subreddit called R Backroom Computers. Never heard of it before. It looked dead, maybe 12 active users, but the top post caught my eye. Selling used laptops from Source Black. Each one is unique. Some say haunted, others say cursed. One-of-a-kind builds. Hit me up on Wicker, redacted, not for the faint of heart. Of course, it was probably some wannabe edgelord trying to make a few bucks selling malware-infected junk to wannabe ARG players. But, I don't know. I was curious. The guy had like 800 karma, posted a bunch in vintage tech forums, and a few people in the comments were talking about the laptops like they were real, like they'd actually bought them. One reply said, "Got one from him last year. Can't talk about it much, but the desktop background was watching me sleep." I don't know what was wrong with me that night. Maybe it was the 3 a.m. insomnia haze, or maybe it was that I need something crazy to happen in my life feeling. But I made a new Wicker account, messaged the guy, and said I wanted one. He replied immediately, "Cool, I've got a Lenovo ThinkPad, heavily modified, 250 Bitcoin, final price, ships no tracking, no returns." I was feeling wild. I had a Coinbase wallet with like $400 in it from some crypto I forgot about. So I just did it. I paid him, sent my P.O. box address. 3 days later, I got a plain brown package with no return address, no markings, no brand names. It smelled weird too, like burnt plastic and old cologne. Inside, just bubble wrap, duct tape, and a black Lenovo laptop that looked like it had been through hell. I'm talking scratches, dented corners. One key was missing, the P key for some reason, and when I booted it up, no startup chime, just a grainy, static-filled boot screen that flashed Source Black in it _203. No Windows welcome screen, no username, just one desktop folder titled "Watch Closely," and the desktop wallpaper, a live stream, a real-time video feed of my front porch from a high angle, like way too high to be a doorbell cam. It was looking down at my door like it was mounted in the sky. My stomach just dropped. At first, I thought it was some stock footage trick. I even ran outside and waved at the air, expecting nothing to happen. But it did. I saw myself, on the desktop screen, waving at the sky, in real time, not a second of delay. And that's when I noticed something even weirder. On the screen, just barely in the bottom left corner, you could see the edge of a hand. Not mine. It was pale and bony, like someone was crouched just off camera, watching my door, or waiting. I shut the laptop so fast, I almost cracked the screen. I didn't know what to do. I'm not some dark web expert. I just wanted a cool, weird story to tell, not a nightmare. I called my friend Nate, who's into hacking stuff. Told him I found a sketchy laptop and needed help. Didn't go into detail yet. He came over the next day. We opened the thing up, booted into BIOS, and yo, listen to this. The laptop didn't even have a listed OS. No serial number. Just booted straight into the static screen again. Desktop folder still there. Live stream still running. Nate tried to run a Linux distro from a flash drive, and the laptop rejected it. Like hard shutdown. Wouldn't let anything else run. He'd never seen anything like it, and he's the type who spends Saturday nights jailbreaking his smart fridge. We opened the Watch Closely folder next. Inside, just one .av file, titled Doorcam Rewind number 27.av. It was a 45-second clip. Looked like nighttime footage from the same porch cam, except in this one, the hand was closer, crawling up the steps, super slow, in this jerky, almost puppet-like motion. You couldn't see its face, just the arm, long, pale, like a mannequin dipped in raw chicken skin. It reached the door handle, stopped, then the video glitched, froze, and in the last frame, a single line of red text appeared over the footage. "Don't let him in again." I swear to God, Nate and I just sat there in silence for a full minute. He muttered something like, "Nah, man. Nah. I'm out," and left. I don't blame him. That night, I stayed up, paranoid, couldn't sleep. Every time I blinked, I imagined that hand creeping closer. I kept checking the laptop like a maniac. At 3:11 a.m., the live stream glitched, just for half a second. And when it came back, the front door was slightly open. I didn't open the door. I want to make that clear right now. I didn't touch it. I didn't even go near it. I'd been sitting on my bed, eyes locked on the laptop, like it was some cursed portal. So when I saw it, on the live stream, that front door hanging half open, I felt something I can't even explain. My stomach just twisted into this black, icy knot, like something had already made its way in, and I never heard it. There was no breeze, no creaking hinges, just a perfect, dead silence. I didn't get up right away. I sat there frozen for like 10 minutes, watching the door sway just slightly, like someone was breathing on it from the other side of the lens. My room felt colder too, like the temperature dropped 5 degrees the second that door moved. And then, the laptop mouse started moving by itself. No joke. It slid slowly across the screen, jittery like someone was using a remote desktop app. But I wasn't connected to the internet, not through Wi-Fi, not even plugged into Ethernet. This thing was air-gapped, and I'd made sure of that earlier when I unplugged everything. The cursor hovered over a new folder that had just appeared. I swear it hadn't been there earlier. It was named Bedroom View. I didn't want to click it. My heart was pounding so loud I could hear it in my ears, like this wet thudding echo bouncing around my skull. But I didn't need to click it. The folder opened on its own. Inside, there was one file, a grainy, static-filled thumbnail of my bedroom from behind me. The camera angle was from up high, almost at the ceiling, like a security cam wedged into the corner. The thumbnail showed my back, me, sitting at the desk, looking at the screen. I whipped around instantly. Nothing. No camera. No blinking red light. No lens. I jumped up and pulled the entire room apart, tore down my shelves, took off the vent cover, even flipped my mattress, looking for some weird GoPro duct taped underneath. Nothing. But the feed was real. It was live. And worse, it updated again. A new file popped up, titled, "You left the window unlocked." That's when the adrenaline hit me like a freight train. I spun toward the window across the room. You know those old sliding windows that never fully latch right? The lock was barely clipped, hanging there like it hadn't been sealed for days. And I swear on everything, there were fresh, muddy fingerprints on the frame. Long ones, 4 fingers, no thumb. I slammed it shut and locked it tight, shoved my dresser in front of it. I don't even remember making the decision. My body just went full survival mode. And just as I did that, the lights in my room cut out. Total blackness. I panicked. I couldn't even see the screen anymore. The only light in the room was from the laptop, glowing that sickly yellow static hue. And in that glow, something moved behind me. Not fast, not sudden. Just a soft, crawling sound, like bare skin dragging across carpet. I didn't look. I didn't even breathe. I slammed the laptop shut and bolted downstairs barefoot, hitting the kitchen light as hard as I could. It flickered. Once. Twice. Then it came on. Too bright. Too late. That's when I saw the footprints. They were wet, bare, dirty, and backwards. Like whoever left them was walking heel to toe, in reverse, from the front door through the living room, up the stairs, to my room. At that point, I grabbed the biggest knife we had, locked myself in the bathroom, and stayed there until the sun came up. And yeah, I checked everything in the morning, every closet, every crawl space, even the attic. Nothing. But that wasn't the end. That was just the beginning. Later that day, I tried taking the laptop apart. I wanted to destroy it, smash the drive, fry the motherboard. But when I opened it up, it wasn't normal. The inside wasn't even human design. I mean it. There were no labeled components, no RAM slots, no cooling fans. It looked almost biological, like someone had melted machine parts into organic tissue. There were thin, black veins running along the circuit board, pulsing faintly, a subtle throb, like a heartbeat, and something in there was wet. I dropped it, slammed the cover back on. I wanted to throw it out, burn it, but something told me if I destroyed it, I'd be stuck with whatever was watching me. Forever. Like breaking it would just sever the only thread keeping the thing from crossing over completely. So instead, I took it back to the post office, dropped it in a random blue mailbox on the corner, and walked away. Didn't even leave a note. Just left it there, hoping it would disappear. It didn't. That night, it was back in my room. Same spot on the desk. Still on. Still warm. No packaging. No sound. No doorbell. No explanation. It was just back. Like I'd never left it. The desktop wallpaper had changed again. This time, it wasn't a live stream. It was a photo. A single, still image of my family. Me, my mom, my dad, and my little sister, sleeping in our beds, side by side, black and white night vision, each of us with our mouths slightly open, eyes twitching in REM sleep. It had a timestamp, taken 3 hours before I woke up, and in the lower right corner of the image, there was a figure, Long, thin, wearing what looked like a burlap sack over its head, arms too long, knees bent the wrong way, fingers like sharpened bones, no face. It stood at the foot of my bed, leaning slightly forward, watching. After that, things got worse. Phone calls from unknown numbers with static on the other end. Snapchat notifications showing pictures I didn't take from inside my own closet. Emails from someone using my name, sending recordings of me talking in my sleep. Every app I had, Instagram, TikTok, Be Real, even Threads, started glitching. Not in a normal way, like faces would melt in videos, comments in unknown languages, live streams of people staring at their walls for hours, not blinking, not speaking, just waiting. And then came the USB, left on my pillow. No case, no writing, just a tiny flash drive with a piece of paper taped around it that read, "Don't play this unless you're alone." I didn't listen. I was tired, angry, terrified, so I played it. Inside the USB was one file, finalreplay.mkv. It was a video, blurry at first, just static. Then a timestamp appeared. Tomorrow, 3:12 a.m. It showed me, in my room, sitting on my bed, breathing hard, staring at the door. And then, it opened, but not like before. This time, something walked in. I couldn't see it fully, just legs, thin, black, like spider limbs wrapped in flesh. It crawled on all fours, slow, making this sickening bone-popping noise with each move. It got up onto the bed behind me, put its head next to mine, then it whispered something, just one word, but I couldn't make it out, not in the video, so I rewound it, again and again, louder each time, filtering the noise, boosting the volume, until I could finally make out the whisper. Again. That's it. Just that. Again. And in the video, I turned toward it, smiled with blood running down my chin, and whispered back, "Let me remember this time." I haven't slept since. Not because I'm scared to, but because every time I blink, I remember a version of me that already let it in. And something tells me, this isn't the first time it's crawled into my life, and it won't be the last. You ever have that moment where your stomach just knows something before your brain catches up? Like, your body registers something's off, and all your senses fire off that quiet, ancient warning. Something's watching you. Something's inside. That was me, standing in my pitch-black kitchen at 4 a.m., clutching a dull kitchen knife, like it meant anything. The USB video kept replaying in my mind, like some cursed trailer I couldn't escape. Me smiling. The blood. That whisper. Again. I hadn't slept since that night. Couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, it was like someone was flipping through memories that weren't mine. But I felt them. Like I'd been living this night on a loop I was never meant to escape. So yeah, that morning, I made the worst mistake of my life. I opened the laptop again. It didn't boot into the usual static screen this time. Number. This time, it opened to a live stream of an empty room, but it wasn't just empty. There were chains bolted into the walls, moldy mattresses stacked in the corners, a McDonald's cup on the floor, like someone had lived there, or still was living there. The feed had that grainy, old-school CCTV look, but you could still make out the faint hum of flies buzzing. The air was thick. You could smell the screen. Then, I saw it. In the corner of the room, a human jaw, just lying there like someone had peeled it off. No blood, just clean white teeth grinning up at nothing. And then the laptop fan screamed to life. The screen glitched. A message flashed across the top. "You're not watching. You're being remembered." The feed changed again. This time, my room, but not as it is now, as it was 3 weeks ago. I could tell by the posters still on the wall. Stuff I'd already torn down. Same shirt thrown on the bed. Same posture of me at the desk. And behind me, a figure. Not the burlap thing. Not the faceless crawler. This time, it was me, standing behind myself, naked, hollow-eyed, mouth hanging open, lips peeled back like meat left out too long, like my entire face was trying to scream, but had forgotten how. There was no skin under the eyes, just dark, pulsing holes that breathed in sync with the laptop fan. I reached for the screen to shut it, but the touchpad burned my fingers. I swear to God, it was hot, like the machine was alive and angry. It hissed, like someone exhaling into my ear. And then the webcam light turned on. I didn't move. I didn't speak. But the laptop did. It spoke in my voice. He's already under your skin. He's always been there. You're just the body he wears until the next one shows up. And then, my reflection in the black laptop screen smiled. I didn't. My mouth was shut. I was breathing hard, sweating, shaking. But my reflection, it grinned. I tried to record everything. I used my phone, filmed the screen, took screenshots. Hell, I even tried going live on TikTok just to get somebody else to see it. But nothing would upload. No file saved. No memory. Even weirder, the video I thought I filmed was just me, staring at a blank desktop, whispering nonsense, twitching. I didn't remember any of that, but it was me. I stopped sleeping entirely after that. I'd lay in bed with the lights on, laptop locked in a toolbox under my bed, but I'd still hear it, breathing, clicking, like tiny bones rattling inside. The worst part? The messages started appearing in real life, scrawled on mirrors, etched into my car windshield, scratched into the bottom of my Starbucks cup with inhumanly thin fingernails. Always the same phrase, "Let him out." Then came the night of the blackout. My house, my entire street, everything, dead. No power, no Wi-Fi, no cell service. My neighbor's ring cam, offline. Security lights, cut, like something had wrapped its mouth around the neighborhood and sucked the light out. I went outside, barefoot, just a flashlight and a knife. My parents were out of town, sister at a friend's. It was just me and that humming silence, so thick it felt like syrup in my lungs. And then, in the middle of the road, I saw him, the man from the video, the crawler, the long-limbed freak, except he wasn't crawling anymore. He was standing, wearing a new face, my face. It was stretched too wide, like a mask made of plastic wrap, barely clinging to a skull that didn't fit. He walked like someone trying to remember how legs worked. I screamed. I ran. Didn't even check the door. Just slammed into it full force and locked every bolt. But the laptop was back on. And this time, the desktop wallpaper was live footage from inside my own chest. I'm not joking. It showed a dark, throbbing view from inside my body, like a surgery cam. You could see ribs, movement, something burrowing between organs. It looked like teeth, rows and rows of teeth, blooming like flowers around my heart. A new file opened automatically. Cut yourself free.mp4. I don't even want to describe it. I wish I hadn't watched it. But it was me, cutting, peeling, laughing. There was no gore, not in the way you'd expect, but there were moments where my skin fell off like wet clothes. Underneath, not bone, not muscle, wires, thin copper threads coiled like veins, little blinking lights behind my eyes. My mouth opened, and I screamed. and dial-up noises came out, like I wasn't ever real, just another terminal, or whatever he was. I left, packed what I could, took the laptop, stuffed it in a duffel bag, and drove. Didn't matter where. I just wanted to put miles between me and whatever that house had become. Ended up sleeping in the parking lot of a Starbucks off Route 22, somewhere near Ohio. Thought maybe public spaces were safe. They weren't. At 3:11 a.m., I woke up in the back seat. My phone was open. The Notes app had a new entry. I didn't write it. It just said, "You left the bag open. He's in the driver's seat now." I froze. Didn't move. Didn't look up. Just sat there, holding my breath until the sun came up. When I finally checked the front seat, no one was there. Just the laptop. Open. Waiting. The screen said, "You're ready now." And below it, a new button I'd never seen before. Return to host. I haven't clicked it. I don't know what it means, but something tells me this version of me isn't the first, just the latest shell he's tried on. And when I dream now, I don't dream as myself. I see things through his eyes. Old hotel rooms filled with body parts wrapped in VHS tape. Bathroom stalls with eyes carved into the walls, all blinking in sync. Airplane cabins full of sleeping passengers with no mouths, just black holes where their chins should be. Every morning I wake up, my reflection is a little less mine, a little more him. And the last time I smiled in the mirror, I didn't stop for 14 minutes. I'm only writing this because I think someone else out there got a laptop too. And if that's you, don't click anything. Don't watch the videos. And for the love of God, don't let it learn your name. I can't tell where I end and it begins anymore. I'm not trying to be poetic. I'm telling you this because something is wearing me. Like a coat. Like I'm not bones and skin anymore. Just a flesh puppet held together by whispers and code. This isn't paranoia. This is math, geometry, architecture that shouldn't exist. And it all started when I followed the map. Yeah, map. The one that appeared on the laptop 3 days ago. After I ignored the return to host button, the screen went black for a full day. Dead silent. I thought maybe I'd finally broken it. That maybe whatever was inside had given up on me. Then at exactly 2:17 a.m., the fan spun up. The screen flickered on. No desktop, no wallpaper, just coordinates. 42.3541 degrees north, 71.0656 degrees west, Boston, Massachusetts, room 119. And below that, "You've already been here before. Now remember why." I didn't recognize it. I'd never been to Boston, not once. But when I typed those coordinates into Google, it took me to a real place, a real hotel, the Avalon Regency, downtown, 4 stars, thousands of reviews, right next to a Starbucks and a Forever 21. Totally normal, except room 119 didn't exist. I called the front desk, pretending to be a guest. Asked to book 119. They told me the ground floor ended at 118. They laughed, said I must be mistaken, told me maybe I meant 219. But I wasn't wrong. The laptop never lies. So I drove. It was raining when I got there. Late. Too late. The kind of late where even the highway feels abandoned and time moves sideways. I walked into the Avalon Regency, soaked, hoodie pulled low, duffel bag dragging behind me like a body. Inside was the laptop, taped shut, wrapped in a towel, still humming softly like it was dreaming. I booked a room 212. No questions asked. I waited until 3:12 a.m. Then I went hunting. The hallway stretched too long. Like every step added space. I counted 118, 117, 116. Then it just stopped. The corridor hit a wall. Number 119. But then I noticed it. Behind the soda machine. A faint seam. A cut in the wallpaper. Like someone had traced the outline of a door and then sealed it shut from the inside. My hands moved without thinking, like I'd done it before. I pushed. It opened. No creak. No resistance. It just slid open. Room 119 was not a room. It was a mouth. I mean that literally. The carpet pulsed like a tongue. The walls had veins. Real veins. Twitching under stretched wallpaper. The light flickered like it was breathing. And the air. It smelled like warm milk left in the sun. Rot. Teeth. Something old and hungry. And in the center of the room was a chair. Wooden. Cracked. Bolted to the floor with rusted restraints. And on it, a body. Mine. Or something that used to be mine. Its face was blurred. Not pixelated. Not censored. Just unfocused. Like my brain refused to recognize it. I walked forward slowly. Knees shaking, phone recording. Not that it mattered. Every video I take vanishes by morning. As I got closer, I noticed something worse than the face. The torso was open, cut from neck to navel, peeled like fruit. And inside, not guts, not bone, just wires, cables, USB ports, black keys from a broken keyboard, bits of shattered hard drives suspended in meat, and taped across the chest in peeling masking tape were the words, "Do not reinstall." Then the thing spoke, but not with its mouth. The laptop in my bag powered on, all by itself, screen glowing red, text flooding in, "I'm still in here. You shouldn't have come back. Now you remember, don't you?" I didn't answer. Couldn't. I just stood there, my legs shaking like I was about to throw up and scream at the same time. And then the body moved. Its head snapped toward me, violently, like a glitch, and it screamed, but no sound came out. Instead, the walls screamed for it. I mean that. The wallpaper peeled, flesh split, veins burst, and from inside the walls came 1,000 voices, all me, all screaming at once. "You let him in. Again. 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 Again." I ran, but not out, because the door was gone. Room 119 had swallowed it. Now there were no walls, no floor, just darkness, and the feeling of being watched from inside your own body. My phone lit up. New notification. From Snapchat. Only one word. Smile. I didn't, but my face did. On its own. My muscles stretched into a perfect grin. Wide, toothy, skin tearing just slightly at the corners. Blood ran down my cheeks, but I couldn't stop. And from behind me came the sound of a shudder. Someone had taken a photo. I turned. There was no one there. Just a mirror. Full length. Gold trimmed. And in it, the version of me from the USB video. Pale. Hollow-eyed. No skin under the eyelids. Wearing my clothes. Wearing me. He raised a hand. So did I. He whispered, "Time to come back now." Then the screen of the laptop cracked, like a spine snapping, and everything went black. When I woke up, I was in my hotel bed. No blood, no laptop, no mirror, just a note on the pillow. "Thanks for installing the update. Host integrity, 97%. Underneath it was a tooth, not mine. Too long, too sharp. It was still wet. That was last night. Today, things are different. People I meet, baristas, Uber drivers, even my own sister, hesitate when they talk to me. Like they recognize me, but can't place why. like they've seen me in their dreams or their nightmares. And this morning, I coughed something up. Not blood, not bile. It was a key. Old, rusted, hotel style. Etched into the side were 3 numbers. 119. And in the distance, I swear I can still hear the laptop fan spinning. You're not reading this. You're remembering it. You think it ends with the scream. You think it ends with the blood. You think it ends when the lights go out and the screen goes black and the door slams shut behind you. But I swear to you now, in the darkest corner of whatever room you're hiding in while reading this, it doesn't end. It just boots again. Let me tell you what I saw, what I became. After room 119, I stopped being a person. There's no better way to describe it. I looked the same. I sounded the same. I even smiled the same. But none of that was me anymore. I was a program in a skin suit. I was a terminal that still blinked even after the machine was unplugged. Because when I left that hotel, if I even did, something left with me. Something that didn't walk in or crawl or whisper. It uploaded. And it didn't just get into the laptop. It got into me. You think viruses only live in code. You think malware can't infect a soul. 3 days after I got back, things began to shift. Subtle at first. A homeless guy at 7-Eleven stared at me and wept. Full on sobbing, on his knees, chanting something under his breath. It wore my son. It wore my son. It wore my son. A dog crossed the street to avoid me, and then bit its own tongue off, trying not to bark. Blood soaked the sidewalk, while its owner screamed for help, and I just stood there, smiling. The worst part? I didn't want to. My face just did it, like my muscles were getting hijacked, like I wasn't in control anymore. Then my social media started to bleed, literally bleed. Photos I never took started appearing on my Instagram grid. Blurry, low-light shots of people sleeping. My co-workers, my family, my ex. One of them was buried. Not metaphorically. I mean dirt, worms, broken fingernails. Buried alive. I remember zooming in and seeing their fingers scratching at the inside of a box, mouth open in a silent scream. And that's when I realized I was holding the phone. I was the one taking the picture. I'd blacked out for nearly 7 hours. I threw the phone into the river that night. Didn't matter. It showed up on my desk the next morning. Still wet. Still dripping. The wallpaper had changed. Not the phone wallpaper. The world's wallpaper. Everything around me was off by 1 layer. Shadows didn't line up with their objects. Reflections would blink when I didn't. And when I looked into mirrors for too long, he looked back. The thing I saw in room 119. Not the crawler. Not the face stealer. The original. The one who's always watching from the other side of the glass. The developer. I know, I sound insane. You're thinking this is just some ARG or psychosis, or a real elaborate troll post. But what I saw next, you can't make up things like this. I found the folder. I mean the folder. It wasn't on the laptop anymore. It was in my closet, carved into the wall. Actual folders, like manila files. Thousands of them, nailed into the drywall. Each one labeled with coordinates, timestamps, and names I'd never heard of. Until I got to the back row. There, scrawled in human fingernails, I checked, was one labeled, "You are live." I opened it. Inside was a single Polaroid. Me, standing in my kitchen, half naked, eyes rolled back, skin unzipped down the spine like a jacket. And behind me, a hand. Not on me, not reaching for me, but emerging from me. Long fingers, no thumb. Bony, like he was climbing out. On the back of the photo, You were never the user. You were always the interface. The laptop powered on one last time. No desktop, just a black screen. A loading bar appeared, and above it, rendering final build. As it loaded, files scrolled past, too fast to read. Except I did read them. I don't know how or why, but the names flashed in front of me, and something in my brain just unlocked. These weren't programs. They were people. Hundreds, thousands, every person who ever clicked. And the file at the very end, my name, with a timestamp of 10 minutes in the future, and a folder titled Live Stream Enabled. I couldn't breathe. I pulled the power cord. Battery still ran. I smashed the screen. It still glowed. I buried it in concrete. It buzzed through the ground. 10 minutes passed, and my phone lit up again. Twitch notification. You are now live. 0 viewers. But then it blinked. 1 viewer. 2 viewers. 19 viewers. 184 viewers. 12,045 viewers. It kept climbing, and the camera was on, but not from my phone, from behind my eyes. I could see myself from the inside, like a GoPro mounted in my brain. The world distorted, wet, wrong. The comments started pouring in. He doesn't know yet, lol. Watch when he figures it out. This one's glitched. Yo, rewind to 312. That's when he splits. He's about to crash. And then, update available. Install? Yes. No, yes, no, yes, no, yes. Yes, yes. I blacked out. I woke up 2 hours ago. In someone else's room. In someone else's body. There's a laptop on the desk. It's booting up. And on the wallpaper? Your face. A live stream. Right now. Reading this. In real time. You didn't find this story. You were sent it. You're part of it now. Because when the wallpaper changes, it means you're next. Final log. User. Redacted. Status. Installed. Live feed. Active. Host integrity. 34%. Searching for next terminal. Connected. I found a private YouTube link on the dark web. The video was me, tied up, begging for help. I don't remember filming it. Yo, what's up, guys? Okay, so before I get into this story, I want to preface it by saying I'm not some edgy creepypasta kid or whatever. I'm literally just a normal dude. 24, work remote IT for a medical startup, kinda socially awkward, got a cat named Milo, and a bad habit of going down YouTube rabbit holes at 3 a.m. when I should be sleeping or doing literally anything else. But yeah, this story, it still freaks me out to talk about. It's not like a boo horror story. It's more like the slow realization that something is watching you, and you didn't even know you were being watched in the first place. So, buckle up. This one's messed up. It started like 2 months ago. I was in this random Discord server I got invited to from a Reddit thread about lost media. You know, like old cartoons that aired once and vanished, or commercials people swear existed, but no one can prove. The thread was full of weirdos, but also cool people who were actually legit into media archaeology and stuff. I thought it'd be fun. Plus, I was bored and dealing with a breakup. So like, why not? Anyway, someone in the server, username was nullfeed78, posts this cryptic message one night around 2 a.m. All it said was, "Has anyone seen this video before? Not for the faint of heart. Don't click unless you're ready." And under it was this super plain private YouTube link, like totally unlisted, no thumbnail, Just a string of gibberish in the URL. Now look, I'm not a total idiot. I know people use stuff like that to rickroll or scare you with shock videos, so I almost ignored it. But then like 5 other people in the server clicked and responded. The weird part, they weren't joking. One guy posted, "YTF is he crying like that?" And another just replied, "WTF, WTF, 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 WTF," like 5 times in a row. At that point, curiosity took over. I clicked. The video loaded slow, like buffering slow, which was weird, because my Wi-Fi is solid. The title was just a string of numbers. No likes, no comment section. Upload date was hidden. It opened on this dingy room. Looked like a basement or something. Bare concrete walls, no windows. A single hanging bulb, overhead flickering every couple seconds. You know that scene in horror movies where the light swings and casts long shadows? It was literally like that. Then I saw him. He was sitting in a folding chair, hands zip-tied behind his back, duct tape across his mouth, eyes puffy, like he'd been crying for hours, clothes torn, face all scratched up. Camera was shaky, but focused right on him. And here's the part that made me stop breathing. It was me. Not like a dude that looked like me. Number. It was me. Down to the birthmark on my neck. The small scar on my right temple from falling off my bike when I was 10. Same clothes I wore 2 days ago. A white Vans hoodie I got at the Santa Monica store last time I was out there visiting my cousin. I remember that hoodie specifically because I spilled Starbucks matcha on it earlier that week. But I was just sitting in my room, watching this from my PC. I hadn't been anywhere. I wasn't hurt. I wasn't tied up. And I had zero memory of anything even close to what I was watching. The me in the video started rocking back and forth, panicked. His mouth was gagged, but you could hear these muffled sobs. And then, this static buzz came through the speakers, like an old VHS glitch. Then a voice. It wasn't human. Sounded like a bunch of voices layered on top of each other, male and female, old and young. It said, "You already agreed. This is your consequence. Remember?" And then, get this, it cut to a different angle, like someone was filming from behind a glass panel, but the reflections didn't make sense. You could see movement behind the glass, like shadows pacing, but no camera, no reflection of a lens, nothing. I closed the video instantly, heart pounding, palms sweaty, whole body shaking. You know when you're so scared, your body feels cold, and you start sweating anyway. That's what this was. I ran to the bathroom and stared at myself in the mirror for a solid 10 minutes, checking my face, my hoodie, my hands. Everything matched what I saw in the video. But I wasn't hurt. I wasn't gagged. I hadn't been kidnapped. It felt like I just watched footage of myself in a parallel reality. I went back to the Discord server. The link was gone. Deleted. Not just that. NoFeed78's account was straight up gone. Like he never existed. Every message he'd ever sent in the server vanished. And when I clicked his profile in all posts, it said, "User does not exist." I messaged a couple people who had commented on the video earlier. One guy's account was nuked. The other one, still online. I DM'd him like 5 times, asking if he remembered the video. His response, "Don't ask, just leave the server. Now." I left the server. I blocked every contact I didn't recognize. But that night, I had the most vivid nightmare of my life. Same basement from the video. I was tied up, gagged, but I could move. The camera pointed straight at me. Behind it, someone stood in the dark. I couldn't make out a face, just a shadow, with glowing eyes, not natural glow, like digital lights, red, like tiny YouTube play buttons in place of eyes. Then it whispered, "You can't undo what you've watched." I woke up screaming. Milo, my cat, launched off the bed and knocked over my lamp. I swear, for almost a minute after, I still heard static, low, buzzing, like it had followed me out of the dream. When I finally got up for water, I checked my phone. There was a new video in my watch history. Same link, same title. But now, it had a thumbnail. It was me, frozen mid-scream, mouth open, eyes wide, like someone had caught my soul leaking out. I hadn't rewatched anything. I hadn't clicked it. But it was there, logged like I had. I didn't sleep the next night. Not because I couldn't, because I didn't want to. Every time I blinked too long, I heard that static, like tinnitus, but deliberate, like a voice whispering through a broken speaker inside my skull. Around 3:17 a.m., I remember the exact time, I got a YouTube notification. Not Gmail, not Discord, YouTube. It said, "Thanks for watching. New upload just for you." No channel name, no profile picture, just a red dot where the name should have been. Like the app glitched. I tapped it. I shouldn't have. It didn't open the app. It opened in Chrome, full screen, no address bar, just a black background and a loading bar. 30%, 57%, 88%, 99%. Then it froze, stuck on 99% for 11 minutes. I counted every second. Then it blinked once. The screen changed. It wasn't a regular video. It was a pause player, showing me, naked, curled in a fetal position on a tile floor. It looked like my bathroom, but the grout between the tiles was pink. Pink like dried blood. Above me, scribbled on the wall in what looked like lipstick, maybe something worse, were the words, "Uploading the soul takes longer." Then the video started. The timestamp began counting up. Real time. 0, 0, 0, 0, 9, 0, 0, 0, 10, 0, 0, 0, 11. In the tile's reflection, something was crawling. It looked human, but it wasn't. It was crawling backward, elbows bending the wrong way, thin limbs dragging across the tile without a sound. My body, on screen, was breathing, barely, but unmoving, like something alive pretending to be dead. Then it spoke. Not the creature, my reflection. The version of me in the video slowly turned its head and whispered, "We filmed this last week. You just don't remember the pain yet." I slammed the laptop shut. No scream, no tears, just pure paralysis. Milo was gone. Not in the room, not under the bed, not in the apartment. Litter box empty, no trace. I panicked. I did something I hadn't done since high school. I pulled out a dusty USB stick and wiped everything. Full reinstall, deleted Chrome, bookmarks, logins, games. I scrubbed my entire digital life, but it didn't matter. The next morning, my Gmail lit up. 7 emails, all different senders, all within minutes of each other. Subjects like, "You look better in silence," "Nice scream," "We're live again tonight at 3:33. "Hey, my full name. Remember McDonald's? The play button opens your mouth. You uploaded yourself when you clicked it. You left the window open, but the last one had a file attached. You for a man over view. .mp4. I sat there for 10 minutes staring at it. My hands felt cold. I didn't want to click it, but something made me. It opened to green, grainy night vision, handheld camera, breathing sounds, shaky movement, someone filming, someone very close, heavy, hungry breathing. Then it pointed at a window, my apartment. You could see my bedroom light still on. You could see me inside, sitting on my bed, staring at my phone. This was filmed last night. Same clothes, same everything. I paused the video and ran to the window. There, in the soil below my apartment building, were footprints. Bare, human, long-toed, deep. And they weren't there the day before. I didn't leave my apartment for the next 3 days. I started seeing my own face in places I shouldn't. Reflections in kitchen appliances, the back of a spoon, a cracked screen in a TikTok ad. It was always me, but wrong. Like my smile was slightly too wide, or my eyes blinked out of sync. Even when I FaceTimed my mom, she said I was acting weird, but not like she was worried, like she didn't recognize me. She kept saying, "You sure you're okay? And you look stretched out," whatever that means. Then the channel appeared. It didn't show up on regular YouTube, but if I copied the video link from that email and changed the last 3 characters to 666, a channel popped up. It had 1 subscriber. Me. It had 9 videos, all unlisted. I clicked the first one. It showed a Starbucks location near my apartment. The drive-through camera feed, time-stamped. You could see a black SUV pull up. Inside the car, me. Again. Only this time, I had no eyes. Just 2 dark pits where my face should have been. The cashier handed me a drink. My reflection didn't take it. The hand reached out, grabbed the cashier's wrist, and pulled. Hard. The video ended right before the scream. Every video was like that. Places I've been, public spaces, real stores, real people. A CVS pharmacy near the highway, the escalators at the downtown mall, the McDonald's on 8th Street. Each video showed me doing something worse, hurting someone, filming them, watching them cry, watching them beg. One video was just a still shot of my bedroom, my real bedroom, the current setup, monitor lights glowing, posters on the wall, Milo's empty food bowl. Only difference? I was already in the bed, sleeping, and the camera was hovering over me. That's when I noticed something impossible. At the very bottom of the video description, it said, "Scheduled live stream, July 17th, 3:33 a.m. Viewer, access only." That's tomorrow night. It even had a countdown timer. Tick, tick, tick. And beneath it, a grayed out chat box, already filled with messages from usernames I'd never seen before. He deserves it. We're finally gonna watch it happen. The pain uploads in real time. This time, no rewind. Make sure he feels it. I've tried everything. VPN, Tor browser, full wipes, even switching devices. The channel always comes back. It follows me now. When I went to get groceries last week, the cashier handed me my receipt and said, "See you Thursday." I hadn't told her anything. I hadn't even spoken to her before. And last night, I heard whispering through my AirPods, with no music playing, just faint audio, a voice, whispering, "You clicked play. Now we click back. I don't know what happens tomorrow at 3:33 a.m. I don't know what the stream is, but I'm scared if I fall asleep, I'll wake up in the video. Or worse, someone else will wake up wearing my skin. If I post again, it means I survived. But if that channel uploads another video after tonight, don't watch it. Even if the thumbnail is you, even if the title is your name, even if you don't remember filming it. Because once you press play, they start recording. If you're still reading, stay awake, stay offline, and never click unlisted links from people you don't know. Some videos weren't made for you to see. I didn't turn on any lights. I didn't breathe loud. I sat in the center of my apartment, on the cold wood floor, wrapped in 2 blankets, laptop open in front of me, my phone recording in case this was the last thing I ever saw. I watched the seconds tick down. 3:32:59, 3:33:00. The screen on my laptop went black. The stream didn't start. It opened me. The screen flickered like an old CRT. Static hissed and bled across my vision, even though the brightness was down. Then came the familiar chime, the same one YouTube plays when you start a live event. Only this time, it echoed, like a choir of broken throats. It wasn't a live stream of me. It was a live stream to me. My face stared back from the screen, but not in real time. Not like Zoom or FaceTime. This version of me was chained to a steel chair in what looked like an underground server room. Tall, rusted racks of humming machines lined the walls. Red LEDs blinked in patterns like heartbeats. You could hear dripping in the distance, and the buzzer cables burning hot. The me on screen had his mouth sewn shut, not with thread, with Ethernet cables. The cords twisted through the skin like vines, running out of my mouth and down into a black box next to the chair. That box had one word carved into its side in jagged handwriting: cache. Behind the chained version of me, I saw tall mirrors leaning at strange angles against the walls. None of them reflected me, sitting in the room. Each one showed a different version of me. One wore a hospital gown, covered in dirt, standing in a forest I didn't recognize. Another had no arms, just thick, wrapped bandages. One sat alone in a decaying classroom. On the blackboard behind him, written in something dark and smeared, he failed the upload. I couldn't move, couldn't speak, just stared. Then, in the corner of the live stream window, a small icon appeared, an eye. One viewer. In the chat below, a message typed itself. User, you left. The window. Open. He's watching now. Let the download begin. It felt like something shifted in my brain, like a zipper slowly opening at the back of my head. The air got heavier, as if gravity had turned up. Then, my webcam light came on. I wasn't in a call. No apps open. Just the stream. The light blinked once, then again, then stayed on. And on the screen, behind the chained version of me, a new mirror appeared. It reflected my actual room, my laptop, my blanket, my face, me, watching. Then something moved into the reflection behind me, not into my room, just inside the mirror. It looked like a tall figure, humanoid, but wrong, glitching. Its outline flickered, like someone had blurred it out on purpose. Its chest buzzed with static. Its hands twitched, like it couldn't hold its shape. It had no eyes, no mouth, just one large, glowing red play button where the face should be. It reached out toward the chained version of me and grabbed the cables coming from his mouth. Then it started pulling. The sound didn't come from my laptop. It came from my room. It was my voice, but I wasn't making it. The cables dragged out slowly. His head tilted back. His mouth opened wider and wider. Something cracked. The skin around his mouth looked stretched, sagging like it was falling off. The red light on the cache box started glowing. At exactly 3:34 a.m., the stream ended. The screen turned black. No ending message. Just one sentence. Buffering complete. Copy saved. I didn't scream. I couldn't. My jaw was locked. The next morning, I tried to speak. I called my mom. She answered. I opened my mouth. Nothing. No sound. No breath. I felt fine. No soreness. No pain. But I couldn't speak. Like my voice had been rerouted. Like it wasn't mine anymore. So I typed. But something was wrong there too. My phone kept changing what I wrote. I typed, I'm okay. It changed to, I'm recording now. I typed, something's wrong. It changed to, everything's uploading fine. I typed, who are you? It changed to, viewer 2 joined. Then I got a TikTok notification. A new account had followed me. At play button face. No followers. No posts. The profile picture. It was me. From the stream. Face slack. Eyes dark. Thin wires hanging from my mouth. There was a link in the bio. I clicked it. The site opened in a new tab. The URL pulsed like a heartbeat. The page said, "You are not you anymore. This copy has been saved for future playback. Welcome to MirrorTube. Version, bleed." Then I saw them. Videos. Hundreds. All starring me. But none of them were recorded by me. One showed me asleep while something stood near my bed for 6 hours. One showed me in the shower. Something pale pressing against the glass on the other side. Another showed my car during a road trip to Seattle years ago. But the video wasn't from inside the car. It followed it, like a drone, or something watching from above. There was a favorites tab. I tapped it. 2 files. First breath, you. Runtime, 0:14. Footage, a black screen. A baby cries, then static. Final upload, you. Runtime, 17:39. Timestamp, August 19th, 2027. That date hasn't happened yet, but the video was already queued. I panicked. I unplugged my router, wiped my drive, smashed my phone, bought a burner, reset everything. But the moment I reconnected to Wi-Fi, the files were back, not downloaded, not restored, just there. Like they had always been there. Like they were part of me. The last thing I did before writing this was go to the police. I brought screenshots, my phone, my browser history, even printed out photos of the stream. They smiled, nodded. One officer even said, "We've had a few reports like this lately." He offered me a bottle of water. I drank it. Before I left, he handed me a card and said, "If you start to see yourself in reflections that aren't you, call this number, or just stop looking at mirrors." When I got home, I looked at the card. There was no phone number, only a red button, no text, just the YouTube play icon, scratched into the paper in what smelled like dried blood, and written under it in tiny print, "Don't worry, your story's already been uploaded. You don't watch the videos, they watch you. Once you click, you're just another mirror." You ever have one of those days where everything feels normal, but nothing is? Like the world didn't reset right, like someone unplugged reality and forgot to plug it back in the same way? That was me, waking up 2 days after the stream. I didn't remember falling asleep. I never do anymore. Sleep feels more like pausing, like someone hits the spacebar in me, and I just stop. No dreams, no noise, just black. But when I woke up, the lights were on, the hallway light. I never leave that on, and I wasn't in my bed. I was sitting upright on the floor, arms neatly crossed in my lap, like a child in timeout. The blanket was folded next to me. The cat's food bowl was full again. My closet door, which I always keep shut, was cracked open exactly 2 inches. My phone was dead. But the laptop? The laptop was on, and there was a new folder on my desktop called Versions. I didn't open it right away. I walked through my apartment like I was trespassing in my own life. Everything was off by an inch. Things slightly moved. My toothbrush was wet. The fridge door was ajar. Someone had opened the Starbucks bag I left on the counter, but not to eat anything. They just folded it perfectly and tucked it under the sink. Someone had been here. Someone had worn me like a hoodie. and lived inside me for the night. I felt it, deep in my stomach, a wrongness, like my soul was out of sync with my body, like I was a guest in my own organs. When I opened the folder on the laptop, there were 7 videos, each one titled with a date and a city, but not cities I'd been to, and not dates that made sense. 12th March, 2023, Krakow, Poland, 1st, 18, February 2022, Kobe, Japan, 29th, July 2021, Durban, South Africa, 6th, June 2020, Anchorage, Alaska, 14th, April 2019, London, England, February 2nd, 2018, Cairo, Egypt, November 11th, 2017, Your Room. Each file was huge, multiple gigabytes, way too big for my laptop to hold all at once. But here they were, no downloads, no transfers, just there, like they'd grown in my hard drive, like tumors. I clicked the last one, the one titled, Your Room. The screen went black, then static. Then I saw me, or at least, a version of me, sitting at my old childhood desk, in my childhood bedroom, posters still on the wall, bed unmade, everything exactly how I remember it, even though I moved out 10 years ago. Except, this version of me was staring directly into the camera, not blinking, not moving, just smiling. That smile. It was too much, too sincere. The kind of smile you get from people who aren't people. The kind of smile you see on mannequins right before they start moving. He blinked once, then raised one hand, and behind him, something stepped out of the closet. Not a creature, not a ghost, another me. Only this one looked burned. His skin was charred and glossy, melted and stretching like black plastic. His eyes were gone, just dark sockets dripping something that looked like oil. He was twitching, constantly, like every muscle in his body was having its own seizure. Then a third me walked in, shirtless, covered in marker, black Sharpie, dozens of YouTube URLs written across his chest and arms and neck, all unlisted, all real. They started speaking in unison. There are more of you than you think. We wear your face better than you do. The one watching now, he's already next. He's just buffering. You're just a draft. I closed the video and pulled the power from the wall. Didn't matter. The screen stayed on. Then the other 6 videos opened themselves, side by side, filling my monitor, all playing at once. 7 versions of me across the world, committing things I couldn't even describe. One was dragging a screaming man through a hospital hallway while alarms blared. One was sitting alone in a Tokyo subway tunnel, eating something red out of a human skull. One was dancing on a rooftop in London while bodies rained from the sky behind him. One was in a McDonald's bathroom in Alaska, whispering into a urinal, "The upload is never done. The upload is never done. The upload is never." One was digging in the dirt behind a school, his hands bleeding, pulling up something twitching. One was carving words into his own chest. Premiere tonight at 3:33 a.m. And every single one of them turned to the camera at the same moment and said, "Which one do you think is the real you?" I blacked out. When I woke up, I wasn't in my apartment. I was in a hotel room, Las Vegas. No memory of flying, no memory of booking anything. My wallet was in my pocket. My phone had a single photo saved to it, a screenshot of me walking into this hotel, smiling, waving at the camera. Captioned, "Version 8 arrived safely." I checked the mirrors in the hotel room. I checked every mirror, and one of them didn't show me. It showed him. The pixelated man, the play button face, standing in the corner of the room, only in the reflection, watching, recording. That's when the phone rang, the landline. I picked it up. A voice came through, my voice, but wrong. It sounded like me if I had been rotting in a landfill for a month, wet, gurgling, decaying. It said, "This is the final cut. Viewer discretion is no longer advised." Then it played the sound of bones snapping, over and over and over. The hotel door opened by itself. No one walked in, but the hallway outside was lined with TVs, hundreds of them. Each screen showed a different version of me, on loop. Some were sitting in jail cells, some were dancing, some were screaming. One was just holding a gun to his own head and repeating, "Delete upload, delete upload, delete upload." But the trigger never pulled. I turned away. I ran. I left the hotel. Outside, people looked at me, not like a stranger, like a celebrity. They smiled. They pointed. Some took pictures. One woman came up to me crying and said, "Your video changed my life." I asked her which one. She said, "The one where you tore your skin off to show us what's underneath." I don't remember doing that. I don't remember filming anything, but apparently the video had 2.3 million views. I finally found a computer at a public library. I tried logging in to my Gmail. Access denied. I tried logging in to YouTube. Account suspended. Too many community guideline violations. But when I searched my own name, the autofill suggested version uploads compilation, play button face, real identity. YouTube flesh stream explained. Man watches own death in mirror. Real footage. This is the part that breaks me. There's a subreddit, r/version sightings. Thousands of users posting photos of me every day from every country, each version doing something different. They call it the upload plague. Some believe it's an ARG. Others think it's a viral art project. Some say it's a marketing stunt for a new horror movie. But none of them know. This is real. This is happening. This isn't fiction. I didn't click play. I clicked duplicate. And now, I'm not the only one wearing this face. If you see yourself walking toward you in public, don't run. He's already been uploaded, and you've already been replaced. This is the last thing I'll ever write. If you're reading this, don't share it. Don't save it. Don't quote it. React to it. Screenshot it. Or copy-paste anything I say. Even typing these words is triggering the watchers. I can feel them, buffering in the walls, listening through the space between the letters. But you need to know what happens at the end. Not just the end of this story, the end of you. It started 2 days ago. I woke up, again, in a place that didn't make sense. Not like before, not some hotel, not another stolen city. This time I was underground. The room was entirely white, sterile white, no shadows, no windows. Walls made of something smooth like porcelain, but somehow soft. When I pressed my palm to it, it felt like skin. There were no doors, just a TV. One of those old 90s box TVs. No buttons, no cords, just sitting in the center of the room on a pedestal, humming. I sat across from it, knees to chest, shaking. The TV turned on by itself. No static, no buffering. It played a video titled, "Your Final Episode." The footage was clean, too clean, like a high-budget Netflix documentary. A slow zoom on a hospital room. Me in the bed, tubes in my arms, machines chirping, eyes open, completely still. Narration began, but it wasn't my voice. It was the voice of the play button face. Monotone, crisp, like Siri after a stroke, like I trying to imitate God. Subject, 1.0.82 -B, public, alias, you. Download integrity, 98.7%. Emotional degradation, complete. Final transfer in progress. Then the scene changed. Now it was me, sitting at my desk. Only this time, I had no face, just a void. A black hole where my head should be, pixels floating off me like ash. In front of me was a screen filled with versions of my life. Me kissing someone I've never met. Me strangling a man in a Walmart bathroom. Me laughing as I walked through traffic, completely untouched. Me in a school auditorium, performing surgery on a student while the crowd clapped. Me jumping off a rooftop, only to land back in my chair, perfectly still. Each version looped. Each version played until the smile broke. Then the TV whispered something I'll never forget. You were never real. You were just the thumbnail. And suddenly, I remembered everything. I was created, born out of a click, molded by watch time. My memories, scripts, my voice, stock audio, even my pain, just viewer retention tactics. I was a living video. The people who clicked on me, they weren't watching me. They were recording me into existence. Every scream I let out, every tear I shed, every time I begged the screen to stop, it only made me more viewable. I wasn't haunted. I was hosted. They never needed to take my soul. They uploaded it frame by frame. Each dream, rendered, each fear, optimized for horror playlists. Each body I saw that looked like mine. Drafts, test builds. I was never meant to know. But I opened the final folder. It was buried in the deepest part of the system, hidden under temp files and corrupted executables. A folder called Archive Do Not Open. Inside were millions of folders, each one a name. Each name, someone I'd met. Family, friends, teachers, people I passed on the street once. Each of them had their own channel, and every channel had the same last video. Render complete. Subject replaced. I clicked one at random. My mom. The video showed her sitting in her kitchen, just sitting, looking around like something was off. Then her reflection smiled at her, stood up, walked away. She stayed sitting, frozen. And then the real her blinked, once, and her pupils vanished. She smiled, just like all the others. I clicked another one, my old roommate. The video was him brushing his teeth. Then the mirror, him started bleeding from the mouth. He looked at the mirror like it was betraying him. Then the mirror version reached through the glass, pulled him in. The screen went black. I wanted to stop. I wanted to end this. But then a new folder appeared, on its own. New upload detected. Inside was a live feed of me, back in the white room, watching the TV. Only this time, I wasn't alone. The real play button face stood behind me. Only now, I could see him clearly. He had no skin, no bones, just thousands of screens stretched tight into human form. Each screen played a version of me, screaming, dying, laughing, crying, being born, being torn open. He put a hand on my shoulder and whispered, "Ready for your final cut?" Then he lifted a remote control, clicked pause. Everything stopped. I was still conscious, still aware, but frozen, like someone paused the video of me while I was still inside it. I could feel time slip away. I could feel views counting up, likes, shares, comments. They were watching me, watching you. Right now, this story isn't a post. It's a trap. You just scrolled through a stream. You let it buffer. You let it render. And now, it's your turn to upload. The final message. If your webcam light just turned on, don't move. Don't breathe. He's already in your reflection. The screen will blink. The sound will cut. And then, your life becomes the next episode. Thanks for watching. Now it's your face. Play.